If you're trying to smell warm and cozy this fall, here are 5 fragrances that'll help you do just that. First up, we've got Guerlain's L'Homme Ideal Eau de Parfum. This is a very nice, like, cozy, warm, kind of nutty fragrance, especially coming from that almond. It's got some warm spices in there. Tonka bean adds a little warmness in there too, and a little sexiness. It's got that like sweet cherry kind of vibe in here too. I don't remember if this is actually like an official note, but it still smells really good. It really gives off more of like a cozy, sexy, warm kind of vibe, which is exactly what you want, especially if you're like kind of like cuddling or like by a fireplace or going on a date or anything like that. This is kind of like at the top of the list. After that, we have Australia Amazonas Sierra. Probably one of the most underrated fragrances in my collection, and really anywhere. I don't see this getting the hype that it really honestly deserves. This is like very nice nutmeg kind of warm spiciness in there. The amber really just supporting it in every possible way. The opening kind of opens it with the juniper berry. It's not like overbearing. It really just adds more to like a fresh, like kind of like warm spice in there too. Overall, it's very like almost mouth-watering how like warm spicy it is. It's very, very sexy, very, very cozy. It's one of those that you just want to like snuggle up with like in a blanket, like in front of a fireplace again. But especially like for women out there, they're just going to love it. Everyone I've ever shown this to, they absolutely fell in love with it. And I'm honestly, like, this is exactly what I think of whenever I think warm and cozy. It's that good. After that, we got Dolce Gabbana, the One EDP Intense. The ones like the EDT and EDP, those also work just as well, but this one needs a lot more love because this one comes off a little differently. It really focuses more on the cardamom, which is like very, very nice, warm, spicy kind of fragrance. Very cozy also, obviously, which is why it's in this video. But it really, there's also cashmere in here too, which kind of gives it another kind of edge. It kind of gives it a little bit more of a smoother type of like warm spice, a little brighter than the other fragrances in here. But overall, it still gives that feeling. It still gives a very like a much brighter, warm, cozy feeling, especially for like date nights. This would be perfect, especially if you're going out in general and you just want to be that alluring kind of guy. This is a really good one that you should look into. After that, we have Rayhaan's Corium. This is inspired by Stronger With You leather, and honestly, any Stronger With You like that's ever been created could really fit in this video. But the only reason I'm not really mentioning any of them is because this is a lot more accessible. This is a lot cheaper, especially compared to Stronger With You leather. That one's like usually hard to find. It's usually sold out where you can find it. This is available on Beauty House like pretty easily, and if you use the code CALITTLE, you actually get 5% off. So it's already pretty cheap. You get a little cheaper. But back to the fragrance. This is honestly really good. It keeps that like nice Stronger With You DNA, the warm nuttiness in there, kind of adding a little bit of leather in there, just like Stronger With You leather does, which kind of gives like that cozy, warm feeling, like a little bit of a twist, kind of giving it a little bit more of like a masculine kind of bad boy kind of edge. So if that's especially what you're kind of looking for, especially it's something that performs very well, and it's very accessible, it's very cheap, this is kind of one that you really need to look into. Last but certainly not least, we've got YSL's Nuit alom. There's a reason this stays like on people's lists all the time as like a sexy, warm fragrance, like XYZ insert here for sexy. This is usually included in that list, and it's for a very good reason. The cardamom in here is so good. It's very nice, like smooth, warm spice. There's like other stuff in here that like really just support the cardamom for the most part, but what you get is again one of those very alluring kind of fragrances that is just sexy. That's really it. That you got a little bit of powderiness in there to try to like smooth things out. You got a little bit of everything that just like kind of culminates into like the perfect date night fragrance or the perfect like cuddling fragrance in general. Like if you're just wanting to try to snuggle, you're trying to have a night in, this is perfect. This is also one of those you might even want to like spray on your pillow before going out if you know that you're gonna come back to your place. Pro tip, spray this on your pillow. This is one of those like really sexy fragrances that's probably gonna stay sexy for like until they stop making it, which at that day will be a very sad day, but until then, this one needs to be in your guys' collection.